Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to kind of ask you about that. Like everybody's kind of got a different process. So it sounds like for you, it very much is just like you have a feeling, you go with it, and sometimes that starts with the music and you build, melody on top. Sometimes I don't know. You tell me what kind of what's your process?
Usually, like I write everything on piano. Even if you hear it on guitar, it probably started on piano because that's like my first instrument. But yeah, like you just have to go with it. Like I always have an idea of what I'm trying to do or accomplish, like the feeling.
So drown me in your sinner's bliss and kiss away my innocence and take me far away from home and we'll take the city on our own.
Or like the emotion that I think that's just a composing thing. You're trying to draw the most emotion you can out of a scene. So I treat songs like that, like they're stories, and I'm trying to make the most impactful story. So it's like what's working, what's not. Go from there.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just hoopla and different and made up every time.
Right. Yeah.
Like no songwriter has ever sat down and done it the same way every time. Like that doesn't happen. No.
Yes. I agree.
And if it does, then it's probably Lady Gaga. She probably does everything in 5 minutes, but
right? Yeah,
yeah.
Or the people that have, it's 40 years into it, and they kind of have a proven method that works for them. But even with that, I still think that they probably, depending on how it comes to them, how the idea hits, whether you're writing with other people, that makes a big difference. Do you write most of your stuff solo, or do you have any writing partners, that kind of thing?
I do everything myself.
Okay.
I don't write I literally produce, write, master, like everything I do.
I do it for you.
From my home, myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's like, one, it's so much easier that way when you're dealing with like publishing or who owns masters. And I do a lot of work with a lot of DJs, just a lot of work in general. And the rights for those things, can get complicated. So it's just easier when it's 100% me.
Yeah.
But I love working with DJs and like they're doing the music and I get to see what they would do with the song and what direction they would take it in. So that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, on that kind of stuff, do you typically write they have a foundation, you write something on top, or is it more like remix stuff where you're sending them tracks of something you've already laid down and they can play with it on whatever they're working on?
So it's happened several ways. One time they gave me the song finished and I wrote lyrics all written, recorded them. Another time, like the song Brand New with Sean Tyas.
I remember the day the fire started in me and the way the wind whipped it out. I remember the sky was calling to me, but it never heard me calling out. I remember the day the fire started in me. Now I fight just to make it stay. We always held our hopes up high. We always dreamed of someday this could be brand new.
I did the whole song on piano, and it was like a ballad. And I just did a track like that and sent it to him, and he had fun with it. So there's different ways, even sometimes like a lot of times DJs will remix songs that I've already done. Because I have all the stems, I can re-record anything they need. It's super easy because I have everything.
Yeah.
I did everything. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stems are not individual tracks. Stems are stereo recordings of groups of tracks, such as drums, vocals, and instruments. The specific groupings for your stems are entirely dependent on the situation or any standards you're working within. In addition to being groups of tracks rather than individual tracks, stems are also already mixed. The idea is often that you can edit or adjust the groups or stems to fit sound for picture or to use as tracks in a live performance, though there are infinite possibilities for how stems might be used.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool about today's market and the way it works, because I remember back in the day whenever I was playing, it was so much more competitive, and it was like, no, you play with this band, that band is their own thing. And I love it now where I can lay something down and call my buddy that plays in a different project and say, hey, you want to lay something down for me on this. And it's much more collaborative now, and it's fun to see the different amalgamations that come out of that combo.
Oh yeah.
Seems like it was yesterday. We were hanging out, dreaming of the plans we made. It all seems so far away. Now that I've left is my replay. A replay.
Oh yeah.
So
Everybody's got different skill sets, and it's just interesting to see when people bring their skill and their talent to the table, what you can come up with.
yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of really great people like that. Just let them do their thing.
Yep.
So, yep.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And I totally get starting with the piano, though, on a lot of stuff. Like there is something about the piano that is just absolutely magical. It's like a string instrument that's not a string instrument. That,
It technically is. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it's just, I don't know, I feel the same way. If I really want to sit down and write something, especially from an emotional standpoint, I feel like it's a bigger blank canvas. I don't know. I feel less limited.
Yeah. Well, you have every note and key like visually in front of you.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be so much easier to figure out a melody on a piano than it would a guitar. And that's just my
Right.
brain. That's
Me
just
too.
because it's all laid out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Guitar's
feel the
not. It's
same
like
way.
you got to think so much
Yep.
about what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got an episode coming out. By the time this episode comes out, it will already have been out about the art of production and just how it's changed and how so many people can do everything from home now. And it's
amazing.
It's amazing. So if you don't mind me asking, what you don't have to go into deep detail, but what kinds of tools of the trade do you use? Like, what are you using for your DAW? What kinds of go-to things do you use for your mics and preamps and stuff like that?
I'm super simple. Like super simple.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I had this one roommate when I lived in a triplex in Nashville that he had like his whole living room was just stacks of like preamps and like just like so much you wouldn't even touch everything in one day. Like that's just overwhelming to me. I'm like, I have one audio interface that has 2 channels, super simple. I have my and not NT1, God, my brain, the Newman T3. So just a good large diaphragm condenser mic. I have an electric guitar, acoustic guitar, 2 HS7 Yamaha monitors, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just a good pair of headphones. That's all you need.
Yes.
You don't need any more than that. A lot of what I do is like in the computer. That's where a lot of the money is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can totally see that. I feel the same way. I've always kind of been simplistic like that anyway. Like there's a lot of kind of gearheads out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love those people because I can go to them if I have questions. But even in the bands, I typically would play guitar. I write a lot, but when we were playing live, and they would come up and ask, what are you playing? And I'm like, what you got some kind of effects and all this? I'm like, no, I just plug into my 5150 and play.
People don't realize
it's a good sound, man.
It does not have to be that complicated to get the sound that you're wanting. I think it's the simpler you can make things easier for yourself. That's what I say. Yeah. Well, and with composing too, like we were doing, and you work so quickly, you have to turn around so freaking quickly to be manually dealing with outboarded presets and all that. It's just so much quicker to have it in the computer. And I already have that channel set. I know if I need ooze, that I just click that and I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's no wasting time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.